Welcome to Cat Mama Tarot. This is going to be a weekend reading. It is a collective reading for April 10th through April 12th, 2026. Let's dive in. We start with our underlying messages of will and the Seven of Swords. So when I saw this will card, I thought about, and this is kind of a theme running through the reading, I thought about two different meanings that come up for will. There's free will, right? Our ability to choose our own path, make our own choices, and willpower, which is more of it's like more akin to kind of resilience, where it's like, oh, I gotta it makes me think of a struggle. Willpower, like, oh, I have the willpower to make it through. So I will return to that in just a second. The Seven of Swords is a card that also has kind of dual meanings. It can talk about self-sabotage and kind of the kinds of thoughts that ultimately don't serve us and get in our way and kind of function as obstacles. It can also talk about strategy and being strategic, right? And using your thoughts to actually help you navigate a situation and kind of do things maybe in a different way by being strategic. So, like I said, I'll kind of return to both those cards in just a second. So when we look at our oracle cards here, the first card I pulled was boundaries. And this is card number 12. Oh, you can't really see that. Let me show you. And you can see that she is in a bubble, and she's also in a pretty vulnerable position there. But she's got that bubble protecting her. And what is that? It's funny, I've never noticed that before. And there's a flower. There's a flower growing out of the bubble. Wow, I'd never noticed that until just now. The next card we have is resilience. And interestingly, it's the inverse of 12, it's 21. And so what came to mind when I looked at both of these cards was that by creating boundaries for ourselves, and in this case, it's kind of like a protective bubble around our energy, around our time, we actually, it prevents us from having to carry the weight and kind of use our willpower to kind of make it through, right? Like, oh, I gotta carry this burden of all of this entanglement, right? And I've gotta persist, I've gotta get through, I've gotta struggle. Whereas if you are able to create healthy boundaries for yourself, create a protective bubble around your energy, around your time, around, your responsibilities, I feel like that's actually a way to kind of circumnavigate this need to be resilient, to push through, to struggle, to carry that weight, to persist, despite all these challenges, kind of these two have very different feelings to me. And our last card here is New Beginnings, or actually it's just New Beginnings. It's a new moon, and it's card number 2. And there is this portal to this new beginning. And so what just from the oracle cards alone, I'm getting this message that you have a choice here, right? You have free will to choose to create some boundaries, to protect your energy, protect your time, so that you can devote your time and energy to this new beginning. And it's a new beginning where you're not feeling this need to carry this big weight, this tangled ball that is clearly weighing her down. So there is a new beginning where you can be free of this weight, this burden. But it requires you to establish some healthy boundaries. The tarot cards we have here with the boundaries card are the King of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. So the King of Pentacles is the master of the material realm. He is grounded. He is cool, calm, and collected. And please, when I say he, it's just the energy. It's not, I'm not talking about gender. So you can be masculine, feminine, non-binary. It's not about your gender. It's about the divine masculine represented here in this card. And yeah, it's about being cool, calm, collected, grounded, and just totally trusting himself, knowing that he has the Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to gold. He builds and creates the life that he wants, and he lives in abundance. The Eight of Wands is really about focusing your energy on a particular goal or goals so that you can actually accomplish what it is that you want. So the guidance here in our first little group of cards is really about protecting your energy, trusting yourself, embodying this King of Pentacles, knowing that you can build and create anything that you want, that you have access to all of the abundance that you desire, but you have to believe it. You have to trust yourself. And you want to be establishing healthy boundaries and protecting your energy, protecting your time, so that you can focus your energy and your time on achieving what it is that you want. So when we think about this resilience card, it's, being in relationship is not about, like, being in a healthy, loving relationship is not about struggling. I mean, sure, there'll be struggle, but you shouldn't, this is not the picture of a healthy, loving relationship, healthy, loving, supportive relationship, right? So again, kind of calling back, the boundaries are necessary within a healthy relationship. Balance is required within a healthy relationship. And this could be a relationship with somebody else, but it can also be in relation to yourself. So we want to let go of the struggle. This is not the first time I've said this week. We want to be letting go of this struggle. We want to be really creating more balance in our life so that we can feel loving towards ourselves. We can enjoy the life that we're living. We can play with the energy, right? Temperance is all about alchemy. So turning one thing into something else. Ideally, turning negatives into positives, right? So turning this notion of struggle and resilience and gotta get through, gotta struggle, gotta keep going, right? Turning that into a love for life, right? Finding the joy and the love in life and filling your cup. Then we get to the new beginnings. Or I keep saying new beginnings, the new moon, which is the beginnings card. And there is a new moon actually next week. I think it's next Friday. So that's interesting that we've got the new moon card coming, because you're gearing up for a new moon and for the potential to have this new beginning, to walk through a new doorway where there is less struggle, right? Where you have you're protecting your energy, you're protecting your time, you're focusing your energy. And we have the King of Swords here. You've got two kings. I love that. That's very, you have the opportunity this weekend to really step into your power. The King of Swords is the master of swords, which is the mind. We have the King of Swords on Thursdays, in Thursday's reading, I believe. But yeah, he's the master. And again, don't worry about this. I'm not talking about gender, just talking about divine masculine here. It's the master of his mind, communication, receiving guidance from spirit. The King of Swords sees the big picture. You can see that he is up in the mountains, really at the top of the mountain. And so he really has this bigger picture vantage point that is informing his decisions, informing his actions, informing his choices. And by stepping back and looking at the bigger picture, as well as allowing yourself to receive the guidance from spirit, from your intuition, from your higher self, however you want to look at it, it allows you to have this clarity and to really see things in a new way as you walk through this door into this new beginning. And part of seeing things in a new way, especially when you're stepping back and seeing the big picture, is you can kind of see the spiral of life and how life is this spiral, right? Like we take our learning and then it spirals and we're learning like another layer of the same thing. We're kind of building this knowledge in a spiral, in a way where it kind of layers, the knowledge layers and builds on itself. And that clarity allows us to have these new beginnings, this new beginning, whatever that is for you. So I'm being drawn back to the Seven of Swords and the reminder to really think about how you can do things in a new way, in a different way, in a unique way, while also being aware of any thoughts that might be getting in your way. Any thoughts of futility or thoughts that ultimately serve to sabotage what it is that we want for ourselves and our ability to move towards it. All right, that's what I've got for you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and that this was a helpful reading for you. I'm sending you lots of love. Take good care, and I will be back on Monday for the weekly reading. Bye.